Welcome to the first video. This is going to be a build log of the Spanish ship, the San Felipe from OcCre. I've already opened this box up, so this isn't technically an unboxing video. I've kind of taken a look through it. But just to kind of introduce myself, I'm fairly new to shipbuilding. I've only done one model ship before, but I've got a lifetime experience doing other types of models from, plastic planes, plastic cars, a lot of wargaming, tabletop type wargaming experience, painting miniatures, things like that. RC airplanes, several balsa RC airplanes that have been covered that I still actively fly. But last year I wanted a better challenge, more interesting challenge than just building the plane, so I started with another OcCre kit, the Beagle. Turned out fairly well, so that gave me the confidence to try a much more difficult kit. I've always wanted to build a man of war, Spanish galleon type thing, so after researching a bunch of different kits and stuff like this, this is the one I settled on. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's all in the box. So the first thing we see is a plastic case with a lot of small parts in it. We'll come back to that in a little bit. So inside this bag we have the sails and all of the thread that comes with it. I'm actually going to be replacing the thread with stuff from ropes of scale. I'll probably use some of the thread that's in there, especially the thinner stuff for lashings and stuff, but primarily going to use ropes of scale for the rigging and stuff. There's all the instructions, plans, main instruction book, which has lots of color pictures, and the parts list. This is a paint list of all the paints that you need for all the OcCre models. I did purchase some of their paints for a lot of the metal pieces, and this kit has a lot. I'm actually going to primarily be using the Citadel paints from Games Workshop. Those are the ones I used when I did my wargaming stuff. I know how they work, and they're really good for painting over metal and plastic and stuff like that. So some of the colors that I didn't need, or we're going to go over the wood, I'll use the OcCre colors and for that. So here's the bulk of the sticks that we're going to be used. This is all looks like a 2 by 5 millimeter. This is going to be primarily the whole planking. There's a bunch of round dowels going to be used for the masts and the yards, as well as looks like a bunch of smaller square walnut stock. This one here has all different size pieces of wood. This is a Spanish kit, so everything's in metric, so it looks like 2 by 2 and 3 by 3, and even some 4 by 4, mostly walnut, but also some, I don't know if this is pear wood or what the lighter stuff is, and some sepali in there. This has two very thin, they're veneer type thin pieces of either sepali or sycamore. So I think the sycamore is used primarily for the deck planking. The sepali will actually cover the hull. So this is a double planked hull. So most of the structural part of the hull is going to come from this. Is where we're going to have the strength and stuff, and this takes a lot of work. You have to bend it into shape and everything. But then you can take the thinner, this veneer, and you put it over, which is much easier to work with and stuff, so you can really make that hole look good. It's actually a good system, I think, for beginners that aren't used to working with the thing, and which I consider myself, of course, a beginner. So this is another plastic case with a lot more metal parts. Got the ladders, the gratings, all the portals and everything for the cannons, as well as a lot of the dead eyes and other stuff for the rigging. And the last thing here is a whole big thing of laser cut parts, which this is the one part I haven't really opened yet. Take a look and see what we have. This one looks like it's all the parts for the keel and the rudder. Give you a base. I've got a better base for display, but I probably will put this together at some point to build on. I also do have another building base that I'll be using. So it looks like some of the deck, some other pieces, some more decking, looks like in some stern pieces. This is a heavy piece here. This is going to be the false keel. It comes in 3 parts. We'll have to glue those together, and then the skeleton of the ship will form around it. Some of the bulwarks where all of the cannon are going to come out, as well as some of the wooden ornamental pieces, some more bulwarks. More bulwarks. These in here are the channels where all the dead eyes for all the standing rigging that will hold up the masts go through. Various pieces. I know this is part of the stern. Some of the stern galleries. Looks like some of the mast platforms and stuff then for the lifeboats. Okay. More decking, more pieces of the stern. Looks like a couple mast pieces on that one. Some of the skeleton pieces. This is going to form the inner structure that gives us the ship's shape. There's going to be a bunch of those. These are also probably some skeleton pieces. More skeleton. This is bases for all of the cannon, at least the ones that will be on the upper decks that you'll actually see. The lower decks, they're going to be fake cannons with just short little cannon barrels that'll stick out of those portholes. More decks, and then more of the skeleton. All right, a lot of good pieces here. Let's kind of take and open up and take a closer look at some of these plastic pieces here. Oh, I got tape going all the way around this thing. It's like got a nameplate. Here's the lifeboats. These are metal. They can be painted. I'm probably going to plank the outside of them so that they have a wood appearance. Here's ornamental pieces. A bunch of anchors. The ship has a total of 4 anchors. There's some ornamental pieces that are going to go on the stern, covering the officers' quarters. A whole bunch of brass rods of different sizes. One of the interesting things about this kit is it has a bunch of these little barrels, just to kind of, you can put them around on the deck to kind of make it look like it's, a living occupied ship. Some more window pieces. The ship's bell. To paint that up. There is probably several hundred of these little tiny posts that all have to get painted gold. Here's all of the cannon. You can see these are the larger cannon that are going to go on those bases. You know how well the camera's picking this stuff. And then here's those fake cannons that I was talking about that are just the barrel tips that'll stick out. So we've got some chain in here. It's for the rudder. A couple eye bolts and pieces of rigging of different sizes. Little wooden cannon wheels. And that's that one. Let's open this one up. See what we have in here. Like I said, these are little hatches that will go over the cannon covers. These will get painted. I'll put a red border around the inside, on the underside of the hatches. Various other metal or ornaments, pieces. I think the ship's bell goes in under a little cover. That's only going to be it. There's some more cannon, a couple lanterns, ship's wheel. This is a very ornate ship with lots of little pieces. Most of these are going to have to get painted gold. They're going to go all over it. This was Spanish power projection back in the 1700s. When they pulled into port, they wanted you to be able to see this prestige of the Spanish empire at the time, so they made very, very ornate ships. Put these back. Like I said, this is grating. There's lots of grating that goes on. A little half-round piece of wood. Things to form the ladders that go down to the lower decks. There are some etched brass pieces you can see in here. Underneath, these are going to be used up at the bow. Here's some more etched brass I didn't see earlier. If I can get it out from underneath all the gratings. Looks like some ladders and a few other things in there. There's a piece of clear plastic. I think that goes in. There's like a skylight that goes through the deck over into the officers' quarters to let light in. I think that's going to go. This here is the masthead. Another piece is going to go on top of that. And these will all be painted up primarily in gold, but some of them will have blue and red and everything in them. So alright, well, let's get all of this stuff cleaned up and let's start putting the keel together.